Hello there everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to read ukulele tab. So if you're not quite sure, stick with this video and by the end of it you'll be able to read it absolutely fine. At the bottom of the screen you can see 4 lines. Those represent ukulele tab. Now those 4 lines are not there by some bizarre coincidence. Those 4 lines actually represent the 4 strings on your ukulele. One unusual thing about those 4 lines is that the top line actually represents the bottom string of your ukulele, and that is a little bit strange. It does seem a bit counterintuitive. So one way to kind of remember this is if you pick up your ukulele like this and look at it this way, because you can't see mine right now, but as I pick it up and rotate it this way and look at it, I can see my bottom string is now at the top. That's effectively the same as tab. So that's what each string represents. So the top line of the tab represents the A string on my ukulele. The next one up represents the E string, then the C string, then the G string. So that's what each line represents. The next thing you need to know is what the numbers on the tab actually mean. So I'm going to put some numbers on the tab now. So you should be able to see 1, 2, 3 and 4. And notice they're all on that top line of tab. And what they are, those numbers actually represent the frets of your ukulele. So if there's a number 1 like there is at the start of this tab, you would fret number 1 on the corresponding string. The next one on the tab is 2, followed by a 3, and then a 4. One important thing to note here is the numbers do not relate to your fingers. They are not telling you which finger to use. They are purely there for the frets. So you know what the numbers represent in tab now. They're purely there to represent the frets. So if you see a 5, you play a 5. If you see a 9, you play a 9, and so on. One number that might shock you a little bit is a 0. What does a 0 mean? So a 0 on tab, and I'm going to put it up now, and you can see it's on the C string, represents an open string. Play the string without fretting anywhere. That's all a 0 means. So now you've got to grips with the basics of tab. What does a chord look like? Well, a chord in tab will look like the below. So what you'll see in the tab below is a stacked series of numbers, and in this instance we have a 3, then a 0 and a 0 and a 0. That is the same as a C chord. So on my C I have my A string fretted at 3, and all the other strings are zeros on the tab, so that means I'll leave them open. That's my C. So if I show you a G chord and tab, look at the screen now, and you'll see that the top string has a 2, the next one has a 3, and the next one has a 2, and then finally the G string has a 0. That's a G chord. So you can see that they're stacked up to kind of guide you into what the chords are. So now we know what the numbers mean, and we know what the zeros mean, and we know what a chord looks like in tab. What about those X's that you get in tabs sometimes? So in the tab that I've put on the screen below, we have a 3, and then a 0, and then an X, and a 0. So the X would mean that you don't play that string. So in this instance it would normally be a C chord, but we've actually said don't play the C string at all. So what we'll need to do there is pluck the 3 strings that are represented, like so. Or we could potentially mute that string, but for now I'd recommend just plucking. One thing to note with tab is that tab doesn't indicate timing whatsoever. It's very rare to see timing indicated in tab. It's usually alongside music when you need to do that. So tab will tell you which notes to play, it will tell you where to play on the fretboard, it will tell you what chords to play, it won't give you the timing. You're going to have to use your ears for that one. I hope that helped you with getting to grips with the basics of tab. I'll be back really soon with more ukulele lessons, and thanks for watching.